welcome back to Tomorrow's Technicians Search for the 2026 Instructor of the Year. I'm Doug Kaufman with Tomorrow's Technician, coming to you again in support of Blaster Corporation, along with the North American Council of Automotive Teachers. Today, we have an inspiring interview with a teacher from Positas College in Livermore, California. Brian Hagopian has an impressive resume, as well as an impressive beard, and he's putting both to work supporting the next generation of automotive professionals. Brian says his career goals weren't fully formed when he started college. He wanted to be all kinds of things: biologist, archaeologist, even a lawyer. Then he took an auto tech class and fell in love with it. Great news, right? Well, his parents didn't necessarily agree. His father had his own commercial maintenance business and gave Brian the worst jobs he could, so he would take a professional desk job someday. But after 2 years, Brian was making more than his dad was, so he started bragging about his son who worked at the Cadillac dealership. Well, let's talk to Brian Hagopian to learn more about his career path.
So my personal automotive path and the path I took to teaching, graduated high school, went to a community college, Fresno City College, and took a bunch of different classes. Just kind of took, English, took some math, took this, that. Really didn't know what I wanted, didn't know what I was interested in. And my parents kind of went, you need to do something, right? And so at that point I said, you know what, I want to be an attorney. I think I want to be an attorney. Yeah. So, I lied pretty good. So, that was kind of a good career path, I guess. And so went to sign up for the classes. They were full, couldn't get them in. You got to have 12 units to be full-time and be on your parents' insurance. So, hey, look, there's some automotive classes. Let me just join that. Let's try that out. And at that point, I could barely put gas in the car. I mean, I was so illiterate with automotive, couldn't do anything. And took a couple classes and absolutely fell in love. And at that point, they had an ASE program, went around interviewing at dealerships, got a dealership to sponsor me, went through the 2-year program, got my AS degree, worked at a GM dealer for 10 years. And during that 10 years, I was going to training with General Motors, and they had something called World Class Technician, a series of tests. And I was going to the tests once a week down in LA and getting the stuff done pretty quick. And the instructor goes, what do you want to do? And I said, ever since I took my first GM class, I've always wanted to be an instructor. And he goes, funny you say that, there's a job in Livermore. And I kept my resumes with me, ran to the car, went up to the manager. He goes, here's a phone number, call this person. And April 8th, 2002, started working at the college. So that's my path. So the program has involved, so I started in 2002, and back then there was no such thing as really hybrid and EV. I mean, we had some stuff, the EV1s and stuff like that, but not a lot. And so through the years, just rewriting curriculum and building our advisory board and getting out there to the local shops and the local dealers and just including manufacturers, we've really just evolved into a comprehensive program. When I first started, we only had very few classes and very few subjects. And one of the things I did after I was there about 4 years was I rewrote the entire curriculum and just went ASE. So A1 through A9, L1, L3, G1, and followed that, got our ASE NATEP certification, and just evolved the program into a comprehensive one that just follows industry. Just be an upstanding person. To my students, I am always there on time. Actually, I'm always there early. Class starts at 8. I'm there at 6 in the morning. I'm answering emails in 12 hours. If they get to me, if they inbox me, they know in 12 hours they'll have an answer because I might be sleeping if, they send me one at 10 o'clock at night. But it's always be on time and then be prepared. I am prepared with a lesson. I am prepared with the lab. And so just like you would want to hire an employee, being one of my students, I want them to see that, hey, this is what you need to do. It's not just knowing how to work on cars or knowing how to read a service manual, how to use a meter or any of that stuff or a scanner. It's show up on time, show up prepared, do your job to the best of your ability. I'm tenured, and so can I get fired? Yeah, but it's very difficult to fire me, right? But in the real world, you could turn around and you're gone. And so just because I have that guarantee of, I'm going to have a job tomorrow, doesn't mean I'm not going to do my job absolutely the best of my ability and beyond that every time. So I try to show that to my students in just the classroom environment. Yeah, things that shops and industry and the college or education institution can do is really, it comes down to what I call just a good marriage, communication, right? What do you need? What do we need? And how can we work together? Advisory boards are something that are just, you have to have them, one, because it's law, but no, you have to have them to know, what does industry need? What do they want our students to have? How can we serve industry? How can they serve us? I don't know how many times in advisory board meetings we've, mentioned something and they're like, hey, we've got a stack of engines. Can we just give them to you? Or, hey, we've got a bunch of tools, or we've got books, or, or the shops, hey, we really have a need for 4 or 5 students, and boom, here comes 4 or 5 students that are employed, and then they hire 6, 7, 8. And, now one shop is jealous of the other. Now they're trying to hire more people. So it's really, like I said, a good marriage. It's just communication. What do you need and how can we help you? Just like when I was talking to the counselors about how they can help our students, one of the, how I ended the meeting was, how can I help you? It's not just about you helping our students, but how can I, as the instructor, help you? It's the same with our shops. What can I do at the college to help you? And so how can we get the community involved? It's just that whole deal with just being able to talk and open up, and it's okay to hear, no, we can't do it, or it's okay. I'm one of those people who's very open, especially with my adjuncts. I don't believe in fire drills, right? So I want everything's out in the open, it's all here. And so I've told my advisory board and everyone I've met in the community that, hey, I am happy to do any work. It's just, like I said, the gears move very slowly. It's going to take 1 year to go through, but we will get it done. And so, it's communication and letting everyone know, hey, this is how it works, but we are going to get it done. So next at the Las Positas College and Automotive Department, honestly, it's just being driven by industry. Being in California, EV, right? Everything is EV. And just recently AI, obviously. And so, in fact, I'm looking at an email on my other screen as I just kind of glanced down really quick about getting AI into the classroom using virtual training and stuff like that. And so there's something that I'm going to start to, literally just came through, so start to look at to see how it is. And in AI, as a matter of fact, I actually have in my classes an AI assistant where it's just like ChatGPT. I've trained it with my syllabuses. I've trained it with how I do things. I've trained it with the assignments so the students can ask it questions and it will give it answers or give the student answers, but it won't tell them how to do the assignment. It will help them through it. So, and I've asked them to try it out. This first semester I'm trying it, but then on top of that with moving on to EV, right? Just we're putting in more charging stations at the college. We're getting more donations for electrical cars. The curriculum in our hybrid class, I wrote a hybrid class probably 15 years ago, and it was more alternative fuels, and now it's 90% EV hybrid and 10% alternative fuels. And so that's really where the industry is going and how we need to change and just keep it going. And what's nice, like I said earlier, is the college is a huge supporter of us. They have really given us the benefit of the doubt and let us kind of run with it. So that's where we're going. It's just into the future with EV and AI. It's humbling. I know a lot of instructors, and there are a lot of really great instructors out there. And so just to be recognized as one of them, when we look internally, we're always like, oh, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. But when you really take inventory of yourself, and this goes for everybody, you really do a good job if you show up every day and are prepared and really care for the students, and just have that looking forward. When I came in, I told you I rewrote the curriculum. I also rewrote our motto in our automotive department, which was get you a job in 2 years or less. And so that's really the whole thing. I'm always focused on get you a job in 2 years or less. And so just kind of putting that out there and being recognized for it is just it's a great thing. It's humbling.
Brian, on behalf of all of us at Babcock's Media, Tomorrow's Technician, NACAT, and our friends at Blaster Corporation, congratulations. You're one of our 6 finalists for the National Instructor of the Year Award to be named in May. As you've seen over the past 8 years, we've been telling stories of amazing automotive and technology instructors like Brian Hagopian through our Instructor of the Year program. We've had some amazing candidates this season, and we're getting close to the end, but our search isn't over yet. We're still looking to showcase one more exceptional candidate before we announce our grand prize winner in May. If you know a worthy candidate who deserves to be considered for recognition by Tomorrow's Technician, NACAT, and Blaster, tell us his or her story by visiting tomorrowstechnician.com, opening the contest tab, and filling out the simple Instructor of the Year form today. Let's celebrate greatness. I'm Doug Kaufman. Thanks for everything you do.